everyone, I'm Deborah and this is my channel Stitch the Stash. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your first time checking me out, I hope you enjoy. My channel is all about cross stitch and occasionally I will throw in some extra stuff such as I've done quilting, and with today I have books, and if I have time I have knitting. If I don't show my knitting today, I will do it during my next update video. This episode is just going to be so jam-packed that I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to share that. Today is Saturday, June 8th, and it is a beautiful sunny day here in New York City. The sun is shining, the clouds are kind of blue, and I'm distracted because I have Chloe here with me. The sky is bright blue. The birds are singing. It's very noisy outside. I do have a couple of my front windows closed, but my back windows over here are open, so it's not going to block out all the noisy street traffic and barking dogs and any sirens that go by. I don't necessarily hear them, but I know you do. All right, so I also have chosen my giveaway winner from my last update video. I chose the winner this morning, so at the end of this video I will share the lucky winner with you. So it's been 3 weeks since I've done my last update video. However, I have I've added 2 additional videos to my channel. The first one was my Owl Force embroidery unboxing. I shared with you what you get inside all the kits, and I gave you my thoughts and opinions on the kits and how the purchasing process was. So if you're interested, you should check that out. I will link it in the description box below. And then the last video that I updated was my very first stitch with me. I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out. I didn't know if I was going to do any more, but I did really enjoy it, and evidently I had things to talk about. I didn't come across as too awkward, so I will definitely do more Stitch With Me videos in the future. I just don't know if it's going to be once a month or twice a month. I haven't decided yet. All right, so I have a lot to share with you today, and I want to go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is my Stitch Mania wrap up and what my plans are post Mania. The last time I was here with you, I was 17 days into Stitch Mania, had 2 days remaining, so I just want to quickly go over how I handled those last 2 days. On day 18, I did not do any stitching, and that's okay. I just was busy recording a video, editing a video, updating a video, and living life. So that's okay. I made up for it on the 19th where I did have a new start, and I will share that with you in a little bit. So in summary, I feel like I had an excellent Mania this year. Last year, 2018, was the first year I participated, and I only got 10-11 days into Stitch Mania before I had to stop. So this year what I did was I incorporated the 9 yes ma'am. Yes, do you want to say hello? Do you want to say hello? Yeah, no, you want to sit behind me? Yeah. Okay, bye-bye. All right, so as I was saying, I had 9, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, you gonna go lay down? Life, people, that's the way it is in my house with my cats, especially this one. Chloe's with me and she is highly attached to me, and she's my very talkative kitty. All right, so as I was trying to say, I had 9 Mania whips from last year. I was able to stitch on those. Most of them I did incorporate 2 days of stitching on each. I believe I said last time that there was 2 of them. I was not able to do that, but that's okay. So I had my 9 existing whips from Mania last year. I managed to stitch on 3 smallish current whips that I have, and I actually finished one of them, which I will share with you. And then I had 4 new starts. So I am extremely pleased with my participation this year. And I am glad that I made it my own. And I was ready for it to be over, so I only did the 19 days. I know some people did 31. No, maybe 1 year, but not this year. All right, so now that Mania is over, what is next? I had mentioned in my last update video that I had identified 12 of my whips that I wanted to work on finishing. So these are my post-Mania finishing. And the projects that I chose were projects that I started this Mania or older. So I did not choose anything that I started post-Mania, because I did have post-Mania starts, right? You start the things, and then you say you're not starting any more things, and then you start more things. But anyway, I digress. And I also chose projects that are not just small, but are on the bigger side that I really want to get done. So I thought I would just share with you the 12 projects that I chose, and I will put a picture of what the pattern looks like as I talk about them. So the first one I chose was Fa La La by Country Cottage Needleworks. And I started this on March 21st, 2018. It is so close to being done, so I put it on the list. So the second one I chose was my Tribal Cat by White Willow Stitching. And I started that one on May 2nd, 2018. So that was one of my Mania starts last year. Every time I pick it up now, I am super excited to work on it, and it is so close to being finished. So that made it to the list. Then the third project is Cat Lessons for People. I started that one on May 3rd, 2018, another Mania start. I would like to get this one done. Really, it's a lot of words, so if I just focused on it, it would get done sooner. And I promised that pattern to someone, so I'd like to get it done and get it in her hands. All right, so then my fourth project is February, and I started that on May 4th, 2018. That is by With Thy Needle and Thread, and I really, really enjoyed working on it this Mania, and I definitely want to get that done because I have, 11 more months to complete. Then the next one is May by the Cricket Collection, and I started that one on May 5th, 2018. And I am probably 50% done with that, so I'd like to go ahead and knock that one out because, again, I have 11 more months to complete on those. All right, then the next one is Love One Another by Little House Needleworks, and I started that on May 8th, 2018. Last year I got a very small start on it. This year I put a little bit more into it. But I would like to go ahead and get that one done too. Then the next one is Always You by Heart and Hand. And that one I started on May 9th, 2018. And super excited to share that one with you. And the next one was Bloom. And I started that on October 7th, 2018. And again, it's probably 50% done, so I'd like to go ahead and complete that. And that is by With Thy Needle and Thread also. Then the next one is Santa Claus. And I started that on December 3rd, 2018. And that was when I was going to have 25 days of Christmas starts. And this was one of them. And I only got the little cat head with a couple ears done. So that one's really small. I could get that one done finished soon too. Then I added Sophia. She is by Summer House Stitchworks. I started her on March 4th of this year, and I love her, and I want to get her done, so she made the list. Then I have Live, Laugh, Love by Lizzie Kate, and I started her this mania on May 5th, no, excuse me, and May 11th, and love it. It's stitched up so quickly that I put it on the list. And then the final one to make the cut is Think Spring. It's the designer is By the Bay Needleart, and again, it was also another new mania start this year, and I started on May 5th. Why do I keep saying May 5th? It's May 15th. Love her. She just brings me so much joy every time I pick her up, and so she made the list. And I will tell you right now, out of the 12, I have already completed 2. And you will see those 2 projects today. Okay? So let's go ahead and move on to FFOs and finishes. All right, so first up is an FFO. And I'm so excited to share this with you today. I did not know if it would be just a finish or an FFO. I was managed to complete it last night, so here it is. The first project that was in my post-mania 12 finishes. This is the first finish off that list, and it is Always You by Heart and Hand, and here it is. I love it. I stitched this on 16 count Ada by Picture This Plus in the colorway Haunted. It's all the called for colors. I've added the beads, and I did the road stitches, which again, this was my first time ever doing any specialty stitches, and a little intimidating on Ada, but what I did is I just took the diagram of how to complete them and took graph paper and just marked where my needle needed to go to complete the road stitches on Ada, because when you look at the chart, it's for an even weave and it's a little confusing. So that helped me, and I love them. And again, I started this in Mania last year. It was supposed to be for my husband and I anniversary last year. I did not get it completed. I got very little bit done. And this year, I made sure I had it finished. It was not FFO'd in time. I had to order a frame. The frame that I had here was just way too big. So I had to order a frame for it, which arrived, I believe, on Wednesday of this week. And so I just popped it in there. And this is just a really beautiful bronze finish, bronzed oil finish. I did get the frame from AmericanFrame.com. I've ordered frames from them before. I love them. They're very easy to pick out and get the right size for the piece that you need, and I love it. And it's a very thick frame, thicker than I thought it would be. And I just need to, here's my lacing, I need to put in the brackets to secure it and then put the paper on the back and put my little notes on it. And I did get the museum and quality acrylic glass because we do have a lot of dust here, especially when we have the windows open all spring and summer, and with the cats. So I wanted to go ahead and put it behind glass, and I did put spacers in it, so that was a first for me too. I put spacers. I had the second time I've laced a project, the first time I've done road stitches, and I love it. And I will go ahead and tell you that I encountered one issue with the pattern. And you see where the W and the S, the A and the S are. In the pattern, they have the A and the S 2 stitches apart. And that's how I initially stitched it. I stitched it the way the pattern was written. And when I got down to doing the Always and You, I just kept going back to that. I said, that does not look right. Why is it so far apart? Why is it not just one space between all the letters? And when I initially stitched it, I've stitched patterns that had the spacing of the letters not consistent, so I didn't think much of it. Then I looked at the cover photo of the model stitch, and it had the A and S just one stitch apart. And I could not figure out why the model stitch was different from the pattern, because everything here, the A, the S, and I checked, and it all lined up perfectly on the model stitch with the pattern. So I don't know. The model stitch is on even weave, so maybe there's a little boo-boo in there that made them one stitch apart, but it's charted out to be two stitches apart. So what I did is I just ripped the S out, moved it over one stitch, and it looks fine. The one thing I did do is down here is for your initials. I just did our first initial, and then I went ahead and found a font to stitch in the year 2019, since that's the year I gave this to him. Super love it. Yep, love it. All right, so that's my FFO. So now I have two finishes. And the first one is, let me get, I might need something behind this. My first one is Snippets of Mary Bear's Sampler by Stacy, Nash Primitives. And I did the sewing tray, and this is on a 32 count Belfast solo dyed by Silk Weaver, and I did a full color conversion. I've used two Victorian Motto thread colors and one color in cotton, and I love how it turned out. I started this, let's see, I started this on I started this on March 14th, 2019, and I finished this on May 19th. I finished this on the last day of Mania this year, and I finished this before I did my new start. And I just went online to look for a font to put in my initials and the year. And I always do this. I always start with my initials, and then thinking my initials and then the year is going to go side by side, and then I realized I didn't like it like that, so then the year went to the other side. And if I had to redo this, I would have put my initials where the 19 is, and then the 19 where my initials are. But I will finish this. I wanted to finish this into a little tray like the model is, but not as deep. And I had found something from Hobby Lobby that I had ordered online, and I don't know what I was thinking, because I chose the dimensions of this instead of the actual piece, and taking it like maybe an inch on each side, and it's way too big. But that's okay. I will find something. I just need to go to a store in person, and we don't have a Hobby Lobby here in New York City. So I have to wait till either I go upstate to Poughkeepsie, or if I go to Jersey to find something in person. I might look in Michael's. We do have a Michael's here, but sometimes it's hit and miss. All right, so then the next finish I had was Live, Laugh, Love by Lizzie Kate, and here it is. I stitched this on a 32 count Lugana in the color Ivory. I used all the called for colors. This was a Mania start this year, and I finished it on May 18th. And this was also chosen as one of my 12 post-Mania finishes. I also went online to find a font to do my initials and the year, and with this being a perfect rectangular, it was hard to figure out where I wanted to put it, so I just put it here at the bottom. So it doesn't look bad. I don't know how I'm going to finish it, so until then, it's going to sit in my little box of things that need to be finished. All right, so that was my 3 finishes, the one fully finished, and then the 2 regular finishes. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to whips. Before we move on to whips, I have a correction. I said that my Lizzie Kate Live Laugh Love was finished on May 18th. I finished that on May 27th. And then my Always You by Heart and Hand, I finished that on May 27th also. So those were the 2 post-Mania finishes. I did not put the Snippets of Mary Bear's sewing tray on the list because it originally was, but then I wound up finishing before Mania was officially over, so then I took it off and found something else to add to the list of 12. So that's my correction. I finished those other 2 on May 27th, post-Mania, not May 18th. Okay? All right, let's move on to whips. All of my whips have been for the Harry Potter School of Magical Stitches and Literature assignments. And I'm not going to go over each assignment. Some of it was for weekly homework, and then others were for monthly extra credit. And when you do the monthly extra credit, that is putting in 500 stitches. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in order of my whips, but they all were for the School of Magical Stitches. So the first one I worked on was The Mad Hatter by Brooks Books Publishing. And this is where it was the last time you saw it. I am stitching it on a 28 count Joblin in the color Denim, and I am stitching, I think there's 12 patterns in this collection, and I am stitching them all on one piece. It's going to be 4 characters across and 3 characters down. All right, so here's where I am at, and I had to put into 224 stitches for a weekly homework assignment, and I know that I added this in, so I think that's where my stitches came, and I think that I might have done a little bit up there too. But yeah, it's coming along. It needs a lot more work, but we'll get there. All right, the next project I worked on was Tribal Cat by White Willow Stitching. And I love this. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. I had to put in 200 stitches for my weekly homework assignment, and this is where I'm at now. And I'm getting ready. I need to move the Q-snap. I have to finish the face, and then there's more down here on the bottom. But I have stitched as far as I could go without making it too awkward. But now to finish the bottom part of the cat, I need to move the Q-snap. But I love this, and I am stitching this on is it a 20? Yes, this is a 28 count Joblin in black. My needle minder is from Gina's Unique Boutique. And, oh, the thread is a DMC variegated in the color number 69. And I love it. All right, so then the next project I worked on was Pretty Little San Francisco by Satsuma Street. And I did weekly homework and a monthly homework assignment for this project. And this is where it was at the last time you saw it. And I had said that I was counting down because I was first worked on the monthly homework assignment, and I had to actually stitch on the item, which was the water and the boat that was in the water. So I had to count down, and I said I had counted it down 3-4 times and then counted it again, but I would like to say, because I had stitched all of this and part of the boat, and then I had to put it on hold to do a weekly assignment. So I did that, and I filled in all of this right here. And when I got down here, I counted, and I'm so happy that this is spaced perfectly. I did good. But again, I counted like 100 times. But I love this. Every time I ended up going from a hoop to a Q-snap, and I tell you what, I love stitching this on a Q-snap so much better because this fabric is a 32 count Lugana, is dyed by Silk Weaver, and it is in the color Autumn Blush. But the weave is very tight, the holes are small, and when I have it on a hoop, I was struggling. But as soon as I put it on a Q-snap, those holes opened up and I was able to stitch much easier and enjoy it much more. So now I want to get her done because I have like 10 different other ones I need to stitch on. All right, love it. And this was this little paw print needle minder. It was just a freebie I had received in one of my orders, and I can't remember from who. But I love it. Love the colors in this one. All right, then the next project I worked on, Think Spring by the Bay Needleart. I love her, and I'm getting a little bit of a glare, but I love her. And I did stitch on her with my the Stitch With Me video. Very, very happy with her. And this is where she was at the last time I showed her in an update video. She is being stitched on a 28 count Lugana, and it's a hand-dyed fabric by Stephanie, and I believe she's renamed herself as Fabrics by Stephanie, and the colorway is Shimmering Pool. This is where I'm currently at. I absolutely, is it upside? It's upside down. It's upside down. Here we go. There we go. I'm currently using it for this week's homework assignment. I have just over 500 stitches in. The assignment was to put in 1,000, but for every 100 stitches you put in, you got 1 point. So if I put this in right now, I would get 5 points. But I love it. I have finished everything down, all the flowers down here. This is where her hair starts. And I need to fill in this flower here, but I don't have the color, so I had to order it. But I think the colors look amazing on this fabric. And she is on my list to get her done. Love her. Yep. All right. So then my last whip is Butterflies by Stitchrovia. And I did a monthly extra credit assignment on this one. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. I am stitching it on a 32 count Lugana in the color Bittersweet Light. This is where I'm at with it now. Here we go. So I have almost completed this butterfly. I have a couple little spots, all these little, that's actually filled in with light pink, but these spots on the wings and in the center of these flowers I need to finish. And then this is the start of the next butterfly. This one's going to take me a while. As I was saying, that this is going to take me a while to stitch because I believe there's at least 29 butterflies, but this is definitely going to be a travel piece with me because it's something I can see without magnification, so I'm hoping to get a lot more work done on it. This did not make my get it done list, simply because it's a lot of work left to do, but I will consistently work on it so I get closer to a finish on it. All right. So that is all of my whips. So now I have new starts. I have 4 new starts to share with you today. And the first one is from my last new start of Stitch Mania. And I have everything housed in this custom made Bitsy Bob that That's So Kelly had made for me. Absolutely love it. But the pattern I started was Little House Needleworks, and I started the July monthly sampler. And this just happens to be for an ultimate challenge with magical stitches, and it's one of the year-long challenges. You have to put 1,000 stitches in, and so I decided to go ahead and get this started because I needed something that started those are related to the 7th month of the year, and so this is the month of July, so excuse me, it made sense to go ahead and get this one started with my mania. And I didn't have this on my possible new starts for my mania list. I just went ahead and chose this one, but this is where I'm at. I have something in my eye. The border. I got not all of the outside border. I started with the square, and then I jumped in here and I did the solid border, and then I just went ahead and started doing the outside border, and then I did a little bit of this across. So yeah, I need to get this one done. This one I probably will take to StitchCon with me because I can see it without magnification. I love the colors. Love, 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 love. And so far I am using all the call for colors in the thread pack. Love it. All right. So then having these new mania starts, I got the bug to start other things. Oh, and I forgot to say, this is on a 28 count Lugana in the color Mushroom. Okay. I had watched Michelle Bendy Stitchy's, I believe it was a Stitch With Me video, and she was working on this, and I had purchased the kit, and it was sitting in my stash, and after watching her Stitch With Me video, I couldn't resist the calling of starting it. And the pattern is Alice in Wonderland by Maria Bravko. And I purchased the kit from Xstitch EU on Etsy. And I switched out. This came with an even weave, a white even weave, and I switched it out. And I originally wanted to stitch it on a similar blue that Michelle was stitching hers on because I absolutely thought it was gorgeous. And then when I went looking through my stash to see what I had, I came across a different and not obvious choice, a crazy color choice, but I went with it. And I have a tiny start on it. Yeah. No, I don't need that. Okay. This is Color and Cotton 32 count Belfast linen in the color Grapefruit. And I started in the center. And guess what, guys? The center is blended threads. So I got to start with blended threads. But it's getting a little blown out, but right here, this is her arm and her head's right here where she's sleeping. So, doesn't look like much right now. I've only put 1 day of work on it. But I love her, and I love her on this fabric. It's getting a little blown out on screen. It's a little deeper than this. It is not an obvious color choice. I did ask on my Instagram if I was crazy or, you know, what everyone thought. And majority said that, it's a little more accurate in the color, that they loved it. And I love it because I think it picks up these colors. And I did look to make sure that all these colors that would land on this fabric were backstitched. Of course. They were backstitched, so I have nothing to worry about, that they will still show on this fabric. So I'm super excited to get more work in on her. Love her. All right. Okay, I'm back. when I was recording earlier this morning, I kept getting errors. First it was my iCloud storage was getting full, and then it was my hard drive getting full. So I had to pause. I had to back up my photo and video libraries to an external hard drive so I could clean up some hard drive space, and so I could record more videos. So now I'm probably looking a little more disheveled. I have changed tops because we are now in 2:30 in the afternoon, where before it was 10 o'clock in the morning. So I believe I was in the middle of telling you about my new starts. So after I started Alice in Wonderland, I decided that I wanted a small new start. And what I pulled out was from Stacy, Nash Primitives. It's the Snippets of Mary Bear's samplers. You've seen I completed the sewing tray, and this is the finish I would like to do. However, I don't want my tray to be that deep. I just need to find something that will work for the size. But I am now stitching the pin disc, and I'm using the exact same fabric as what I did the sewing tray on. It is the 32 count Belfast linen. It's a solo dye by Silk Weaver, and here is my tiny start. Yep, it was just one night worth of stitching. And as I previously did on the sewing tray piece, I'm using the same conversion, the Victorian Motto threads and the color and cotton thread. But it's super cute. And I had a full like 9 by 12 piece of fabric. I cut it down to 9 by 9, so it's a 3-inch border. And then I have this, I chose the side that has this major little slub. But that's okay. I'll work with it. This is one thing I'm not crazy about linen, is all the little slubs in them. However, I work with it. And the colors I am using is Victorian Motto Shared Memories. Then it's a Victorian Motto Pink Petunia. And then it is a color and cotton taffy. And these colors are showing up pretty true in this window. All right, so that was my third new start. Well, I had one more, and I started it just a couple of days ago. You know that I'm going to StitchCon, and I decided that I was going to try to stitch up a small for the Smalls Exchange. I've had an idea of what I wanted to do for a few weeks now. I even placed an order through Hobby Lobby to get my finishing piece, and when it arrived, the inside dimensions were smaller than I anticipated, and so originally I was going to stitch this on a 40 count linen 1/2, but for it to fit in the piece it'd have to be 40 count linen 1/1, and I just can't see that. So then I was tinkering around and figuring out what can I do, and I came up with a 28 count Joblin, and you will see what I am doing. All right, so what pattern am I doing? First of all, this is one of my newest Love You More Studio Co's book sleeves. I believe they called it Hard Candy. Michelle Bendy calls it Parasols. I love it. It's really, really pretty, and it's a really pretty inside. So what I have in here is, it is Rose Garden by Blackbird Designs. Absolutely love this, and I am stitching it on 28 count Joblin, and it is stitched 1/1. And I still have it in the hoop because I was stitching on it this morning. Yeah, I got quite a bit of ways to go with it. I do not know if I will get it done in time. StitchCon is less than 20 days away, and I still need to FFO it. I'm going to try my hardest because it does stitch up pretty fast, but this is my first time doing 1/1, and I'm finding that it's a little fiddly. I can't pull too tight on my stitches or else you lose them, so it's learning as I go, but I love it. And the threads I am stitching, I pulled out a Victorian motto and Victorian motto sampler, and I am stitching it in Victorian pine. And it's really, really pretty. And I like it because it's not variegated, so I don't have to worry about how I'm going to be stitching it on this piece. Love it, and I have plenty. So I won't have the fear of running out. So I'm going to try to finish it for StitchCon. If not, I will hopefully bring this with me to the New Jersey retreat in August because I should have it done. But I'm really, really going to push hard on trying to finish this in time because what I'm envisioning for my finish, I really like, and I really would like to get it done in time for my first retreat. But we shall see. All right, so that is the end of my new starts. Let's move on to retail therapy. I showed you the one new sleeve from Living More Studio, and I have another one. And this one is 100 Acre Wood. This is a full-size sleeve, but I had to have it because it's Winnie the Pooh. And my favorite is Tigger. Tigger has always been my favorite ever since I was a little girl. When I was young, for one of my birthdays, my babysitter had given me a stuffed animal tiger, and I called it Tigger, and I slept with it every single night. And if you see my Christmas tree, you will see that I have a lot of Tigger ornaments. Absolutely love it. So, but this one's super cute. Here's the inside. Oh, look at this fabric on the inside. Super adorable, Piglet Winnie. Oh my goodness. Love, love, love. So that was another purchase that I had. All right. Then I also made a purchase with That's So Kelly Co. I had purchased one of her mason jar Bitsy Bobs. It's absolutely beautiful. Love this fabric. You know I love Bitsy Bobs. I use them all the time. I could have 100 of them in my collection if I had the space and the money. But I love it. So that is a purchase. And I had also purchased one of her Bitsy Bob Basics. And you saw it in my Stitch With Me video. At the time, I couldn't remember what she called them. It's just a small square, flat piece that has felt on it. It has a magnet on it. And you can just store it with all your projects. Instead of having the folding with the pockets, you just use it onto the side of your project and it'll hold your threads for you as you're stitching. I love it. So that was another purchase. It's in a project and I'm not going to go and get it because, again, I've showed it in my Think Spring Stitch With Me video. All right, so what's next? Well, I made a purchase after I had seen Steph from Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Steph. She had shown this bag, and I decided I needed one because, you know, I'm the cat crazy lady, and I had to have it. So I went to Dot Dot Goose Designs Etsy shop, and I purchased myself a Beach Bums project bag because I needed these lazy, funny, cute, adorable, beachy kittens in my life. And they're super adorable. I love this one with the glasses. Super cute. And this is the back fabric, a nice little basket weave fabric. Very well made. I'm looking forward to using this. All right. Then I also had decided to purchase inside. But while I was browsing, was browsing Instagram one day and I came across this maker, and I decided to check out her Etsy shop. And she had a couple of items in there that I said, let me give them a try. I would like to add them to my collection of useful cross-stitching items. And so I went to Wild Rainbow Designs, and she sells floss folios. And you can get them in 3 different sizes. The smallest size holds 12 bobbins, the medium holds 20, and then the largest holds 28. So I decided to purchase 2 different sizes. This is the medium size. And I don't drink coffee, but this could be hot chocolate. I don't care. A cup of heaven, that can be hot chocolate. It's okay. Yes, back here has all of the coffee motifs, but that's okay. I think it's super cute. And it's held together with a really nice sturdy button enclosure, and then you open it up and you have all these pockets to put your bobbins. It's a nice little applique coffee cup on this side, and there's a place to put your scissors. Really, really cute. This one holds 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so this is the small one. It holds 12. Really cute. All right, so then I purchased this bee folio, and I don't think I have it upside down. Really super cute bee fabric, very happy. Love it. It's all quilted. Everything is quilted. You open this one up, and you have this really cute bee applique, place for your scissors, and you can see here are the bigger pockets for all your bobbins, and this one holds 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 20. This one holds 28, so this is her largest one. But I love them. These are very, very well made, and I will definitely get a lot of use out of them. So she is Wild Rainbow Designs on Etsy. All right. Then I do watch Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, and she makes her own project bags, and she incorporates her grandmother's lace on them. And I have yet to purchase anything from her because every time I go to her Etsy shop, she's pretty much sold out, which is fantastic for her. But I did manage to find a project bag the other day that I really loved. This gorgeous floral on the bottom, little circles on the top, really, really pretty. Her grandmother's lace, antique lace. It's got a really beautiful neutral inside. It's a little floral vine pattern. Absolutely love it. But not only did I purchase this gorgeous bag, she also had needle minders in her shop, so I went ahead and picked up one of her needle minders. And these are buttons, and this one is, I don't know if she hand stitched them herself, I'm not sure, but they're absolutely beautiful, and I had to have this gorgeous flower. Really love it. Yep. So that is from Olivia's Pumpkin Hollow Quilts shop on Etsy. Alrighty. Then, made by Mama Joan. In one of her and Kelly's FlossTube updates, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, they had both just come back from retreat, and they were talking about their travel magnification lights, and Joan had mentioned that she made these covers to go over the light to protect it as you're traveling with it. And I thought that would be perfect. Absolutely love it. I believe she made this out of the limited edition Blackbird Designs fabric that she had, but it's super cute. And I will definitely get a lot of use out of it. Really pretty inside too. She does do custom sizes, so if the magnification light that you have doesn't fit inside this dimension, just message her and she says that, you know, she can work with you and do a custom order. Love it. All right. Then from Down Sunshine Lane, I received my last 4 installments of the Harbor Haven scenes from By the Bay Needleart. Scene 9, scene 10, scene 11, and scene 12. So that's completes the collection. I just need to go ahead and start stitching because I showed you the fabric that I chose, and that is going to be stitched 28 count 1/1. So I'm getting my feet wet with the Blackbird Designs rose pattern because this 28 count 1/1. Very easy to see. However, I do need magnification. I can't do that without magnification, but I'm not having a problem with 28 count. Alrighty. Then I had placed an order about a month ago through mybobbin.com. It is a family-owned business. They are based in Russia. They sell PDF patterns. They also sell cross-stitch kits. They sell a multitude of stuff on their site. But one of their mottos is that they are, they sell, it's local prices globally. So basically you're getting local prices, but they ship those prices. I'm not saying this right. I'm in the US, they're in Russia. I'm getting the Russian prices and they're shipping them to me. They're not, the prices aren't being, because normally when you get patterns from Europe, the cost of the patterns are much more to get them here in the US. But over there, they pass the savings on to you no matter where you live. So I picked up 3 kits. And the first kit is by Magic Needle, and it's this panda. And Yantina Stitches here on FlossTube and Instagram is currently stitching this. And every time I see it, I absolutely love it. It's adorable. She is going to hang hers. Well, hers is a birth sampler for one of her friends who's expecting, and she's going to make it this way, and I love it this way too, so I think that's what I'm going to do. It's a kit. It comes with Aida. It comes with all of the threads. I have already picked out the fabric I want to stitch this on because I did switch out the Aida. I switched it out for a hand-dyed, so when I start it, you'll get to see what it is. So that's the first kit I got. The second kit I got, I cannot tell you the name of it. This has got Zweigart fabric in it. Oh, it's by Riolis. And it comes with the Aida and all the threads, and I just don't know what the name of it is. I don't have, oh, here it is. It is called Free for All Cross Stitch Kit. So it's all these kittens, and I love them. They are super cute, just sitting on top of each other. So I had to have it. And I will swap out the Aida for an even weave. Probably might just do in white even weave because that's what I have in my stash that this would fit on. But it comes with all the stuffs. And then the last kit I purchased, it's Aquarelle. It's called Catmoiselle. She's adorable. It comes with an even weave, and it comes with all of the floss. And I will probably once I make sure that I have enough of a border on the piece, I'll probably just use the white even weave because she's really, really pretty. All right. So that is the third kit that I got from mybobbin.com. All right, we're almost finished. I had also placed an order with Abby. She's the top knot stitcher here on Instagram and FlossTube. Well, she opened up an Etsy shop because she sells needle binders, and she also sells packages of felt that are grouped by color. I had bought several. They're in the other room. I'm not going to go back there and get it because I forgot to bring it out. Shannon's back there and I don't want to disturb her. So, but I had purchased a couple of needle minders from her, and I'm bad because this is just from the second order. I forgot to grab my first order, but these are the needle minders I got from her. And I'm super excited to have Jam. Those of you who don't watch her videos or see her pictures on Instagram, her kitty is named Jam, and he's a gorgeous, fluffy, tailed, orange ginger cat. And he's just adorable. And I love it when his tail just walks by in her videos. So I have a Jam. And then I have a chocolate frog from Harry Potter. This is a nice metal one. And then I have one of her Red Moon needle minders. And in the first order I made with her, I had purchased, I believe it was a grayish blue moon. And then with my order, I got this needle minder for free. Jam threw it in. So I have a green one, and then with my other order, I got a blue one. And I'm using that one on my Think Spring. Super love these. She ships them super fast, and they're coming all the way from the West Coast, going to the East Coast. I get them within a few days, but I just love me Jam. Adorable. All right. Then I have, I got my Color and Cotton monthly threads, and I'll show them to you real quick. These are the primitives, and they're showing true to color on screen. Really beautiful. Love them. I believe these are the mix between the brights and the prims, and these are showing pretty true. They're beautiful. Love them. And then here are the brights. Pretty sure these ones are the brights. Yep, true to color. Man, I'm having a great afternoon color light. Love these. All right, so that is all of my retail therapy purchases. I did want to share with you, I have won a couple of Michelle Bendy's auctions, and funny story is one week I won an auction and my sister won an auction, and when I received my auction package, I had my sister's kit in it that she won, and I had won I think 4 of the With My Needle cross-stitch kits. Well, they're not kits, patterns that were grouped together, and she accidentally sent them to my sister, so my sister has sent them to me, and they should arrive in the mail today, but the mail hasn't come today. But I also won this. The Millennium Falcon Love You More Studio sleeve that she had custom made. So she has one, and now I have one. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Super excited to have it in my life. And yes, Michelle, when I see you in Jersey, I will be bringing this and we can do the twinsy photo. Not weird at all. Okay, so what was inside? Inside it is the Purple Martin Apiary pattern. And that's Teresa, who's Shakespeare Peddler. She designed this for Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche. And Michelle has given away, well, not given away, well, she has given away, but they put them in auctions. A few of these, my sister won one, so now I have my own, and I'm super excited to stitch this because I love bees. On top of loving my cats, I love bees. And inside she also, there is some Aida. There's some Aida. But I'm not going to stitch it on this pattern on this. One, because it's not big enough, but two, I think I have some linen in my color and cotton linen that I think I want to stitch the pattern on. But I will hold on to this and I will stitch something on this. And then I also, she included these decals. They're from, let's see, JG Squared decals, and it's for, it's an autism, because these auctions supported autism last month. So I got one of these. So that was one of the auctions that I had won. All right, so that is the end of my cross-stitching projects and purchases. So let's move on to I was asked if I would start recommending some books. I had a commenter ask me if I could recommend some to her, as she's an avid reader, but she's looking to change things up. And I just decided that because I'm reading, listening to a lot more books, that I would go ahead and make a segment in my videos for books. So the first book that I've actually finished 6 books, but I'm only going to go over 3 of them, and then next time I will go over the other ones I've read. So the first one I read is called Timebound, and that is by Rysa Walker, and it is actually part of a trilogy. And I read this for a Harry Potter School of Magical Stitches and Literature challenge. We needed to read a book about time travel. And I've read a couple, but I put a SOS out to my sister. I said, can you recommend something to me? And she recommended this series. And it is classified as a science fiction young adult book. And it's about this young girl, Kate. She is 16 years old. She lives with her mother. Her parents are divorced. Her father is a teacher at a private school that she attends. When one day her grandmother, her mother's mother, calls, says that she wants to meet her and her own daughter up for lunch, and I guess the tensions between Kate's mother and her grandmother are quite tense. But you know, Kate's mom goes, and basically you realize through this meeting that there's this orb that's hanging off of her grandmother's, that's in her grandmother's purse, and Kate sees it glowing blue, and she thinks everyone else can see it, but no one else can see it. And basically her grandmother's testing to see if she has the ability to see it, because if she does, then she can be a time traveler. So this first book is all about Kate learning from her grandmother that she and her grandmother have the ability to time travel, that there are some bad things happening, and basically her grandmother is unable to time travel to fix the timeline, and she needs Kate to do it, to fix things. And so Kate does. I super enjoyed it. There are 2 more books in the series, and there are 2 in-between books. And I have started the second book. I haven't finished it, but I've gave this one 5 stars. Really loved it. All right. Then the next book I listened to, is Sleeping Beauties. It is by Stephen King and Owen King, his son. It is classified as a fantasy, horror, thriller book. I have never read any Stephen King. This was my very first one. And I wouldn't classify it as a horror. It actually is more of, I wouldn't even say it was a thriller. It's kind of like a futuristic kind of fantasy type book. And in it, there's this town, and this woman comes and appears, and when she appears, all the women around the world, when they go to sleep, they don't wake up, and they become swathed in these cocoons, and they're not dead. They're actually just transported elsewhere. And then Evie, who she is this mysterious woman that appears in town, and she lets the men know, at least one particular one, that the women can be saved, but she needs his help. And basically, it's a book about if the women are, once they go to sleep, if they don't wake up, they become in these cocoons. And what happens to the men in society? How do they react to it? How do they handle it? And you see it where some are ripping the cocoons off, and then these women become violent. But then once they've done doing their violence, the cocoons go back across and they go back to sleep. And it's just about figuring out how men are going to handle this crisis, and what if these women never come back. And so, let's see, what does it say here? Okay, so the men of the world are abandoned because the women are going to sleep. They're left to their increasingly primal devices. How do they handle a crisis? What do they do? So that's what this book is about. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I did finish it. For me, it was a 25-hour audiobook because it's over 700 pages. The challenge for magical stitches and literature was we had to read a book that was 700 pages or more. This one's 702, so it was 25 hours long. And I had a very hard time getting into it. I think it's because I was listening to it, and there are a lot of characters, so you're bouncing around. And from what I understand from one of my coworkers who has read Stephen King, she says that that's the way his books are, that it's a lot to absorb. About the time I hit the halfway point, I was invested. I wanted to know what happened. I wanted to see how it all ended. So if you like Stephen King, it is not a scary book at all, in my opinion. All right. So the last book I'm going to recommend is I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. This is categorized as a mystery thriller, and we had to read a book off of a list that was classified as a plot twist in it. So I chose this book, and what it is there's this woman with her young son. They are coming back from playing for the day, and they're going back home, and her young son darts across the street and gets hit by a car, and the car takes off. Okay, so then the police are left trying to figure out who did the hit and run. The young boy did die. The mother disappeared, and no one knows where she went. And the book is in two voices. It's in the voice of the detective, and it's in the voice of this female character. And she was someone who was involved in the accident. She's trying to deal with the repercussions of it because it was a hit and run, and she flees to another town, and she tries to start anew, but she's always haunted by her past. So basically this book is the police are trying to figure out who did it because no one came forward, there were no witnesses, so it takes about a year it's a year's time before it's figured out, basically. And at first I was listening and I really enjoyed it, but I'm like, there's no plot twist. There's no plot twist, but then there was a plot twist, and I remember I was sitting at work on my lunch break listening to it, and when the plot twist happened, my jaw fell open. I'm like, no. So I enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4-star rating. With the Sleeping Beauties, I gave that, if I could give it a 2.5 star on Goodreads, I would have. But I gave it a 3-star because I did like it, but again, I didn't love it or hate it. All right, so those are the 3 books that I have recently finished. Next time, I'll go over some more. And I do read a wide variety of genres, so you never know what I'm going to recommend. All right, what is next? I'm gonna go ahead and share some knitting. Currently knitting. I'm currently knitting a lot of things. I have quite a few projects on my needles, but I'm currently focusing on one project in particular. Those of you who knit, you might hear of something called Stash Dash. That is something that started, I believe, May 24th and goes through August 24th. I heard about it through a fellow knitting friend of mine who participates. And basically what it is just to knit through your stash. And it can be projects that have already been started that you need to finish, or it's new projects. And at the end of the 3-month period, you can basically, you keep totaling all of the projects that you finish. And you have to finish the project to get credit for using that stash. I'm unofficially participating because I know with my cross stitching, I don't have a ton of knitting time, but I thought, okay, I'll try one project at a time to get them off my needles, because I do have quite a yarn stash that I would like to work through. All right, so what am I going to share with you today, and I'm sorry my pattern is a little beat up, is I'm working on the I Smell Snow. I call it shawl, it's a wrap, whatever you want to call it. It's by Melody Hoffman, and it's huge. What it is, Chloe. Sorry, Chloe's getting into my stuff over there. What it is you start at one corner with a few stitches and you increase, and then when you hit the halfway point, you start decreasing. So it's triangular, but it's also, you fold it over. Well, it becomes a square when it's done, but then you fold it over so you can see both halves and wear it as a wrap or a shawl. Let's see. There are tassels on it that I will not be adding to it. It's super cute, but I'm just not a tassel person. All right, so this is what it looks like. Let me get my other needle. Okay, here we go. This is it. And it's hard to show because this is where I started, and the yarn I'm using, it's a fingering weight shawl. I'm using size 6 needles. I believe these are my Haya Sharps, and it takes fingering weight yarn, and it takes 2 skeins. I'm doing 2 different colors, so it takes 2 skeins of each, 400 yards each. So that is 1,600 yards total when you are done. Okay, this first yarn is Sweet Sparrow Yarns, and it is her Gosling base, which is an 80-10-10, which is merino, cashmere, and nylon. And I started at this end and just kept increasing, and you can see there are eyelets in it as you go. I kept increasing until I got to my halfway point. And then I switched colors, and now I'm decreasing. And this yarn is Legacy Knit Fiber. It's a Legacy Fiber Arts. It is their Cozy Toes base, which is also an 80-10-10, which is a merino cashmere nylon. And this, I forgot to say, this one is called Plum Tart. This one is called Festival Foliage, and I love it. It was, they do this Needles Up show at New York Sheep and Wool Festival in October, and then there's the New Jersey Sheep Festival in Maryland. They do a pop-up event the day before these weekend fiber festivals, and this one, I believe Chelsea died this past fall. So I did not go to the event, but whatever they don't sell, they bring home with them and they put them in the store, and I was able to snag a couple of skeins of this yarn, which I absolutely love. But it's, right now I believe I have 235 stitches, and I've got to decrease down to 1. and I have my little gumdrop marker. I have a love-hate relationship with this pattern. It's super easy, but I kept getting my stitch counts were off. So this bad boy went in timeout until Memorial Day weekend. I fixed my problem and I am cruising on it now. And this is my progress since Memorial Day weekend. It's not too bad. I don't knit on it every day, but I love it. And it's gonna be super, super huge. So there we go. And this color is accurate. These colors are showing up very, very accurate. And yep, love it. So hopefully this will be a finished object in the next month. And this is the yarn caked up that I'm currently using. And this is all that I have left of my plum tart. This is enough to go into my sock yarn blanket. I use all my fingering weight scraps, and I have a sock yarn blanket. It's a square, mitered square blanket that I add all my scraps to. So this will go in it, and then whatever's left over of this gorgeousness will also go into it. So yes, that is my knitting. All right, so let's move on to what you've all probably been waiting for, and that is the giveaway from my last update video. All right, so in my last update video, I had mentioned that I purchased 2 of these Heart and Hand Square Dance April, May, and June patterns. I loved it so much that I forgot that I purchased it. I just hadn't received it yet, so I purchased another one. And I decided I wanted to give it away to one of you. And to enter, Chloe's distracting me. To enter, I just asked you to leave me a comment and tell me what your favorite thing about spring was. And I had a total of 12 entries, and I super enjoyed reading everyone's comments. And earlier this morning, I recorded a little video to select the winner. So I will go ahead and insert that here. Hi everyone, so I'm here to do the giveaway. In my last update video, I had said that I accidentally purchased 2 of these Heart and Hand Square Dance patterns, and that I wanted to give one of them away. And so to enter, all you had to do was tell me what your favorite part about spring was, and then you were entered. And as of this morning, I have 12 entries. All right, so there we go. So I thought we would do the random org generate together. And I have Chloe out here, and she is talking to us. All right, so there we go. Minimum of 1, maximum of 12. Let's generate our winner. Number 9. Who is number 9? Crafty Cat Stitcher, Kathy, yay! Congratulations, Kathy. I will now return us back to our regular video, and I'm so excited that you won it. Congratulations, Crafty Cat Stitcher. I happen to know this is Kathy. Her and I correspond on each other's videos and on Instagram all the time. I'm super excited that you won this. I would ask that you go ahead and email me your mailing address. My email address is listed in the description bar down below, and once I receive it, I will get this in the mail to you. I'm super, super excited to have been able to give this away to one of you, and thank you all for entering. All right, everybody, so that's all I have for you today. Thank you for taking the time to watch my videos, for subscribing, for liking, for commenting. I super enjoy interacting with each and every one of you and getting to know you. And I just truly, really appreciate you. And I know today's video was a super duper long one. I had a lot to cover. I'm hoping to edit down as much as I can. But again, it's been 3 weeks since I've done an update video, so when it's been that long, my videos tend to be a little bit longer because I work on a lot of projects. And if I'm able to, I might put some timestamps back, not back, down in the description box to if there's something you want to skip. But I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to do that for this video because it's getting later in the day and I want to get on the editing train so I can get this up to you for this weekend. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to catching up with you again in my next video. Until then, happy stitching. Bye.